Let's go. You lead the way. Where are we headed? Towards a net zero future, of course. Cleaner water, more electricity, a sustainable society. That's the destination we've set ourselves. This we know. Yes, we know exactly where we're going, but we need to get there quicker. So, let's build on the progress we've already made by working and walking together. With the right partners, tools and ideas, we'll become an unstoppable force. This we know. Right now, there are businesses who are putting technology and sustainability at the heart of everything they do. Brave leaders turning maybes into realities and building something better for everyone. Now is the time to look to the future and reinvent ourselves today, empowering others to do the same tomorrow. Yes, we know what the future holds, and we know how to get there. So, let's take charge of the journey today.
Welcome to our school board meeting.
Namaskar.
Hello.
Hi.
Spiffio, access in any language.
Good morning, good afternoon and good evening from a beautiful sunny afternoon here in Shanghai. My name is Gary Russell. I'm the head of college and it's a pleasure to welcome people from all over the world today to talk about a common passion, which is improving and helping young people. We're very fortunate to be joining you from Shanghai, one of the world's great cities and a centre for innovation, not just in education but in all aspects of life. And I'm joined today by three members of my fantastic team. We have Alison Derbyshire, our head of senior school, Victoria Foster, our head of junior school, and Lavinia Tong, who is our director of admissions and marketing. Today we will be sharing our thoughts and our story as we pursue one of our key well-being goals. We're absolutely delighted to have been nominated for the category of supporting healthy lives. This is very close to our heart because our college is well known for our academic reputation, but we believe that student outcomes are built through a focus on well-being and healthy living. Healthy living is not what we do, it's who we are.
In this session, you'll hear a little bit from each of us and also something from our students, and there will be a chance for Q&A. So if there's anything that is interesting to you, feel free to type them into the comments, and we will try and answer them after the video. And of course, don't forget to hashtag World Edu Week if there's anything you want to post on social media. So without further ado, Mr. Gary Russell will kick us off.
Thank you, Lavinia. For us, supporting healthy lives has never been a bolt-on. It's fundamental. It's underpinned by our shared values, which are very strong throughout the college. Values such as kindness, inclusivity, and compassion. And as with any approach, building on your core values to develop a clarity of vision is the important first step. We took time to clarify our aims, to plan actions, to ensure resources were in place, and to ensure our staff were skilled. And to be honest, where we needed support from external expertise, we made sure that was also in place. If you do not start at the beginning and ensure these foundations are there, any initiatives will almost certainly false start and potentially lead to anxiety or frustration or even both. Dulwich Pudong has a long and rich history of community voice and bringing people together in search of a better future. This means valuing every voice, regardless of the role that people play in our college. In clarifying our vision for healthy lives, we involve students of all ages and from diverse backgrounds. As you will see later on in our video, when you'll hear from our children, those from early years to sixth form have had an input and continue to do so. In clarifying our vision for healthy lives, we also involved parents, both those who have been established at the college for a number of years, but also new parents. Our parents are such a valuable source of experience that we always seek their genuine input. And finally, in clarifying our vision for healthy lives, we involved our staff. And it was important for us that we involve staff from all parts of the college. This included teachers, assistant teachers, support staff, and third-party staff. Only by valuing every voice will you attain clarity of vision and ensure genuine commitment from all. The outcome of this approach is that school culture changes at a very deep level. Change becomes sustainable and ultimately self-replicating. Every member of the community feels included and committed to the change. Most importantly, you're much more likely to achieve the goals that you have set out. This was only the beginning of our journey, but it built the foundations for the success of our approach to supporting healthy lives. Alison will now talk more about the importance of student agency.
Thank you, Gary. We believe a key differentiator for our college is the level of student voice and agency that's in place, driving tangible change each year. Staff and parents promoting healthy living is one thing, but one of our key learnings is it's the student voice that's most powerful. We've learned that when students take ownership and have agency, that's when real change happens. For example, every year we've done big pushes on education around bicycle helmets, but it wasn't until the students took over leading that initiative that we had 100% compliance. Like many schools, we have school prefects, but the depth, breadth and agency of these leaders set us apart. These leadership opportunities begin in the early years when they're invited to apply for a variety of leadership roles, including being a member of the Early Years Food Committee. In the junior school and senior school, the student portfolios continue to be aligned to our vision and mission. We have portfolios for wellbeing, student voice, global citizenship and house, and they've got real agency to make a difference. Some of the initiatives that have been student-led and have made a real impact in our college include the provision of a more inclusive school uniform with gender-neutral ties, trousers for girls, and the provision of a more practical winter sweater option for all of our students. Our student leaders also led the research into and the design of our new outdoor play spaces and across the college, with student insights and feedback being the driving force behind the final choices that were made. This made sure that the outdoor play spaces and equipment are very well used every break and lunchtime. We also work with our student leaders to be responsive to needs as they come up during the year to ensure that we create a safe and healthy environment for our entire school body. For example, we had an issue last year with racially insensitive language being used in the playground. A Year 12 student leader volunteered to lead wellbeing sessions with the senior school that addressed this language head on. These sessions were so impactful and had a really positive feedback from our students, and because they respond just so well when it comes from someone that they can relate to. Therefore, the number of student-led lessons, assemblies, events and conferences have greatly increased over the last years. However, you don't have to have a badge to have your voice heard or to play a leadership role within the college. At all levels, we work really closely with focus groups to gather feedback and make changes. For example, we ask for regular feedback on our wellbeing curriculum from our students. It has been quite some time since we were students ourselves, so when we're designing lessons on comprehensive sexuality education, we need to know that we're pitching it at the right level, otherwise we're all wasting our time. Many of these focus groups are led by our older students, so we get frank feedback that helps us ensure that we can help students of all ages make safe and healthy choices. In addition, we give agency to any student with a passion or desire to make a difference within our school community. For example, last year we had an incredibly successful initiative called the Clothesline Project, and it was led by 2 students, neither of whom were prefects, which focused on raising awareness around mental health with strong messages that it was okay not to be okay and encouraging students to reach out for help when they needed it. This project was completely student selected, driven, implemented and reviewed. It was such a pleasure to stand back and watch our young people inspire their peers to challenge the stigma around mental health. I could go on for a very long time with examples of our brilliant students, but hopefully this gives you an insight into why we believe our level of student agency makes a real difference. I'm going to hand over now to Victoria Foster, and she'll tell you more about our wellbeing curriculum and the experts that we utilise.
Thank you, Alison. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about our curriculum. We have a fully articulated curriculum which has 5 core domains. Each of those domains have understandings, skills and knowledge which ensure that our students have a depth of understanding. We have a self-care framework within our early years which runs right the way through junior school and senior school. Our curriculum leaders meet regularly so that we ensure that there are healthy, smooth transitions between each year group. We have age-appropriate topics such as diet, relationship, mental health, digital intelligence and growth mindset. All of this is about ensuring that our students have the vocabulary, the self-awareness and the tools to ensure that they can take care of themselves. Perhaps most importantly is we believe that well-being is not just a one-off lesson that happens once a week. We ensure this happens in our daily interactions, and this is supported through our 3 value statements. That's value every voice, do the right thing and make a difference. Helping to support our curriculum development is our use of external experts. Key learnings that we've taken away from this is to ensure that we seek long-term relationships. It shouldn't be one-off professional learning activities that happen. We also believe in evidence-informed practices. We like to intelligently adapt things because we know that everything works somewhere. All of this is incorporated in our coaching approach to ensure that our staff work alongside each other and support each other in their journey as an educator. Perhaps two areas in which I can talk about that we are working on at the moment are to do with positive relationships. When we were working on this, we brought in an expert around the awareness raising area. And then we moved on to using experts within our community to ensure that we were context driven. Another area that we have been working on is the DEI, which is diversity, equity and inclusion. We used an expert when we were deliberately practicing what we were learning and ensuring that we had that expert knowledge when the staff were implementing new strategies. I'm now going to hand over to Lavinia, who's going to talk a little bit about impact.
Thanks, Vicky. And I think one of the things we do in a college leadership team is we're always looking at what we're doing, we're looking at the impact we're making, we're looking at what works and what doesn't work and adjusting as we go. And so it's really important that we hear the feedback from staff, students and parents, and that will inform the decisions we make. And one of the things we're most proud about is that when we asked our parents if they felt valued and that whether we listened to feedback, a whopping 91% of our parents said, yes, you guys are a school that listens and you take the feedback and you make changes where we need. So how we do it is every year we run 3 annual surveys. As I said, one with parents, one with students and one with staff. And they look at multiple dimensions of the school, promotion, curriculum, feedback, environment. But what's really interesting about all 3 surveys is the prominence of questions related to well-being, the prominence of questions related to happiness, the prominence of questions linked to healthy living. So the fact that we ask our community year in, year out about how they're feeling in those areas, I think is just evidence of how important we take healthy lives and well-being. As some examples for parents, some of the questions we ask is, do you think your child is happy? Do you feel your child is safe and well cared for? Do your children enjoy learning experiences? And our results are way up there in the 80s, 90s from our parents. We ask staff questions about, do they feel valued? Do they enjoy their working environment? Do they feel supported? And once again, the numbers are in the 80s, 85s. Of course, our most critical stakeholders, the students, and again, similar territories of questions. Of course, there are curriculum questions and CCA types questions, but things that are on there are, do you feel valued? Are you happy at school? Are you safe and well cared for? Do you find our co-curricular programs interesting and fun? And we're proud to say that those are all top box results. I will shine a spotlight on Miss Victoria Foster. So in the junior school, they had 100% of students say that there was a teacher that talked to them every day and understood what they were good at and what they needed to improve on. So amazing results in junior school. Senior school, where Alison's been talking about agency, student agency, and making sure that our senior school students feel independence and they're in control of their learning. Again, 83%, so amazing results from our students, just telling us that we're kind of on track. We do prioritize these measurements, but of course it's not just the good that we celebrate. If we hear things that are not as at the levels that we want, or we're always trying to creep that extra 5-10% in feedback. As a CLT, a college leadership team, we do go through every verbatim. We do look at all the comments, and we're like constantly looking at what can we do better, how can we improve, and especially during COVID lockdown, where there was online learning, we're weekly getting feedback from parents to make sure that we're giving the best provision we can to students, parents, and staff. And I just want to say we definitely take action, and we've made loads of steps in each of these areas, and it really is a team effort. I'll pass back to Gary.
Thank you, Lavinia, and I hope what you're feeling and sensing here is that the sheer amount of commitment to leading healthy lives is significant. This isn't something you can do half-hearted. It's something you have to believe in, something that has to be aligned to your values. So you've heard from us. In a moment you're going to hear from some of our wonderful students. Our students are fiercely independent and certainly would never be scripted. young or old, they speak their truth and will give their honest assessment of the college on all sorts of issues, ideas and initiatives. As you're watching the video, consider some of the questions you might ask your students when seeking input and feedback, such as, what makes you feel happy? What makes you feel valued? What makes you feel a part of our community? And many communities are welcoming, but it's worth asking your students what gives you a sense of belonging? What makes you feel empowered? And what makes you feel that your voice is valued? I hope you enjoy the video.
Well, a lot of things in the school makes me feel happy, like my friends and loads of my favourite teachers and all the people that make me feel good in the schools. I like music class.
I would think that the number of CCAs that we have, and just for so many different types, for every single person, there's something or the other that would make them feel comfortable, make them, like there's always something that anyone wants to do.
CCAs are actually predominantly led by students, and we have a lot of say in it and what we want to achieve and our aims and goals.
We can make our own clubs. That makes us the leaders of our own club, which gives us the opportunity to expand our skills and learn through leadership. And also the wellbeing prefects and all the prefects, they give us opportunity to take on a bigger role in school.
I like mixing colors because I can mix color. So my favorite place in the school would probably be the library and my classroom. And the library, you can read, but you can also talk to the counselor if you feel sad or even if you feel happy. And I love my classroom because it smells good and I really like my teacher.
What makes me feel valued as a student is obviously the teachers. I think teachers play a big part in how I feel valued.
Plays that in outside, my favorite place is like the pond and the swing because it's like it's very good to stay in and calm down and to like look at the fishes. I like constructions in school, and also I like dinosaurs too.
The guards, they safeguard us, right, and make sure we're safe. And I feel like the IEs, they help provide a clean and like suitable environment for us to learn, and also perhaps it's an area that people oftentimes overlook.
Since they're always in the background, I guess people don't really see what they do. I mean, obviously the IEs clean up the whole school and the drivers take us to school. These all contribute to our daily lives.
Well, for activities, I like CCAs, and I just basically like learning about math, English, everything. It makes me happy just to be in school.
We hope you enjoyed our video. Our students are delightful, and whenever we watch that, it always makes us feel a little emotional. They're wonderful young people to work with. So we'd now like to take some questions from people who are joining us today. Before we do, I think it's important to stress in any process, openness and transparency are crucial for us in our Supporting Healthy Lives agenda. You need to be prepared to be courageous and have honest discussions with your community, and that's what in part we're doing today. Don't shy away from difficult questions, don't avoid difficult discussions, and be honest when you don't know the answer, and be prepared to seek advice when you need to. So let's take a question from our audience today, and I'm going to perhaps ask Vicky if maybe you could take this one first. The question is, I heard Shanghai went through a major lockdown last year. How did you manage to continue with your mission of supporting healthy lives through that difficult time?
Okay, that's a great question. I'd probably look at that in two ways. The first one is our staff and our community. Reaching out, very simple, making sure that you're still reaching out to staff. Obviously that having to be sort of through different apps, making phone calls. I think that was really important. Very simple things in terms of making sure staff had what they need in terms of the physical needs, food, making sure that they had those basic daily needs were being met. And what was really lovely for us was how much our parent community supported. Despite the fact that they were also in lockdown, we had a lot of parents reaching out to us at that time saying, how can we help? So I would certainly say in terms of staff, we were really supporting it in those areas. And then of course, like every school, we've developed ourselves an online learning program. And even when we had that online learning program, that healthy living was still incredibly important to us. And we ensured that there was key components of that program still met the needs, our physical needs and the emotional needs of our students. So one example I can give you is something that we had every morning was something called Wake Up, Shake Up. And it was run by our PE team, and they had all of the students, all of our families up first thing in the morning with a physical activity, and it was so well received and it really brought our community together. So one example of something we did, we also did wellbeing days, and we came off our normal timetables and we did activities like yoga, mindfulness, all sorts of things to support our community in that healthy living despite the challenges that we were having in lockdown. So I think we really made sure that our vision and our mission in that area still came through despite where we were in our homes. So I'd say that was something that we did.
My 4-year-old son, Enzo, would join Wake Up, Shake Up every week, dressed in his pajamas or superhero outfit, and just really great way of making sure that our kids are online, they're online, but they're active and they're having fun. So not easy in early years to be online, but I think for sure the little ones could at least get engaged on that.
Yeah. And even for, I would say, the older students, we had wonderful days that we set up where they were wellbeing days. And so we moved away from the traditional curriculum that we were teaching, and we offered opportunities. And at first we were a bit worried, are these students going to engage? When you get to teenagers, sometimes they're a little bit trickier to engage than others. But we had brilliant Tai Chi sessions where we had a Tai Chi professional, very experienced expert that led our students in Tai Chi exercises on one of our wellbeing days. And the feedback was incredible. They really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Let's take another question, and this one perhaps, Alison, maybe if you could pick up first of all. There's a stereotype that parents in Asia push academically very hard, sometimes at the detriment of well-being. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's exactly what it is. It's a stereotype. I think all of our parents really push for and want for their children to do the best possible they can at school and to reach, often talk about reaching their potential. We talk about trying to move them even beyond their potential at times, because sometimes students and their parents aren't even aware of what their child is capable of. But I don't find that they do it to the detriment of their well-being. Our parents want their children to be happy. And I know that's something that we work very much together on as a community. So even right from the start, when we interview potential students and their families, we talk to them about the fact that we're not an exam factory. We're not here just to get the highest grades at any cost, that we do offer a holistic education and that their children's well-being is incredibly important to us. I know when I introduce myself to the students in the year 7, the newbies each year, I talk about my main job is I have 2 parts, one to make sure they're safe and second to make sure they're happy. And we're not talking about those academics. And we repeat those messages with parents But our parents are very much on board with that journey. And then we have just introduced this year a Parent Academy series, which helps educate parents, sends parents back to school as well, and they learn with us around areas of wellbeing, around physical wellbeing, around the emotional wellbeing. Our counsellors are very involved in this program, and also just about more about our school, so they can understand what's going on and why we're doing it. And we find that as soon as parents have that understanding that their child won't learn unless they feel safe and unless they feel happy at school, then that helps them come along on the journey, I find. So it is a stereotype, but we do have very high expectations from our parents and academics, but it's not at the expense of their children's well-being. And I think what's really nice is they also recognise it can't be at the expense of the staff's well-being either, because our staff work so hard and our parents are so supportive of them and making sure that they're okay. And it's lovely, it's really touching.
Yeah, and I think that the idea that we have also that it's about best fit, and it's ensuring that we get students to follow their passions and find out who they are, and that if we're going to the end goal, which is normally university, we talk to our parents a lot about best fit and what's the right thing for your child and where do they want to go and what are their interests, that we've helped them grow over the years, and I think the parents understand that.
Yeah, and I think that there's been a few questions in the chat about parents and parent feedback and parent community, and I think it's so important, this kind of education of parents, because as a parent myself, and we're dealing with parents all the time, it's how do I support my child? How do I kind of bring that third leg to this triangle where you've got the student, the teachers, and the parent plays that really important role. And as a school, we have that responsibility to make sure that parents are equipped with the tools and know the types of vocabulary and the type of support that we can give the children, so that we can kind of give them the best education possible. So really, parents are important, and we do so much work with the parents to ensure that they know what we stand for, they know well-being is important. So just to add on what Vicky and Alison said.
Thank you, and absolutely can reflect upon that myself as a parent at the school. The support that I get from the college to support my child's well-being is fantastic. So I can certainly mirror all the comments that have been made there. Okay, we probably have time for one or two more questions. Maybe Lavinia, if you could pick up the next one. And the question is, how have you as a college engaged support staff in promoting healthy lives?
So of course I sit in the category of support staff, admissions and marketing, but the number of people that work behind the scenes to make sure that a school is running smoothly is huge, and that can be HR, IT, operations, finance. Some of our students mentioned like the IEs who are the cleaners, or the drivers who drive the school bus. And I think the one way that has really made a difference to ensure that this well-being, healthy lives strategy is really embedded is that every member of support staff feels exactly that same responsibility to deliver that. And so if you talk to our IEs, our cleaners, especially post-COVID, it's all about, I need to provide a really clean, hygienic, safe environment so our students have the best environment they can learn. The guards, they'll talk about, keeping the campus safe and just making sure that the children are kind of physically safe and protected. IT, they do a lot of work on digital safety actually, and we have a program called Custodio, which just keeps an eye on digital activity for students. HR with safe recruiting and just making sure that we have the right qualified, checked teachers in the classroom with our students. Facilities and operations, safe environments. So every member of staff, whether it's academic or support staff, really buys into this vision, and I think it is all about the culture of that we're all together. And we did talk as a team whether it's the right people to have in this session if it's all academic, and it was like, actually no, support staff is also important, and so that's why I'm here. Lucky you guys.
Thank you, Lavinia. We've had a number of questions around our wellbeing curriculum, such as from Bushra. There's a relatively large amount of information that we can share with you. We probably don't have time to do that today, but you can always contact us personally, individually. If you go to our website, you can find our email addresses, and we'd be more than happy to talk to you at length about how we have developed our curriculum. And one more question here from Jasmine, who is asking, what is the one piece of advice you would give to school leaders to replicate this initiative? And on that topic, we're going to just take a few minutes to give you our top 5 key steps in terms of the journey we've been through in supporting healthy lives, and tips you may want to take away for your school, your organisation, should you be looking to do the same. So firstly, a clear vision that everybody understands. It all starts with shared school values and clarity of vision throughout the entire community. Everyone plays their part in supporting healthy lives, and this really comes down to being clear about why we are focused on well-being and what it is we're trying to achieve as a community. Dulwich Pudong has an amazing reputation for academic success, as we've said, but we believe that is built on a foundation of well-being for our students and our staff. Secondly, value every voice. Embed well-being and healthy living into your organisational culture requires everyone to be committed and to take responsibility. No matter your age, your role, your experience, you are valued in the community and you have a role to play. The most important thing you can do is to engage every single person so that the community is behind your vision. Teaching staff, support staff, parents, and of course students. Everyone has a crucial role to play.
Thirdly, we would encourage you to involve students actively. Give them agency. Students have to have ownership when it comes to healthy lives. There needs to be systems in place to give them voice, choice, and agency, and then support and scaffolding so together we take action as a community. It's not just through prefects, it's the voice of all students in the college that is needed, alongside their everyday involvement in the wellbeing curriculum and the breadth of CCAs, whether it be sport, music, cooking, yoga or mindfulness. When they can see the very real impact that they can have on the whole college, then there is no stopping them.
We advise you to build healthy living into your curriculum, such as cognitive well-being, social well-being, emotional well-being, physical well-being and spiritual well-being, and incorporate external expertise to work alongside your staff to ensure your decisions and your practices are evidence-informed.
And our last but not least point is it's just not good enough to run initiatives. It's really important that you're constantly looking at what you're doing, you're gathering feedback from your key stakeholders, and you're listening. And then when you get your feedback, you take action and you change what you're doing or you course correct. We pride ourselves on being a listening school, and I think year on year, improvements in our parents, staff and student surveys is a testament to this.
So thank you to everyone who's joined us today to hear our story. It's good to see so many people chatting online from all parts of the world. Thank you to my team and to all members of our community who have played such an important role in our journey. Before we go, we'd like to stress one very important point. We have not reached the end of our journey. There is no destination, rather an ongoing commitment to supporting the healthy lives for all of our community. A humble approach that recognising we can always do more. Thank you for being with us today and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Yeah.